Welcome everyone to Unfolding Consciousness book study number 52. 52, one whole year of weekly studies in one of the most important texts I have ever known, if not the most important text. We're doing things a little bit differently. We've been doing them differently by going directly into the reading of the book. We're going to do that here. And let's go. It is the divine forces within humans, the awakening of the latent faculties and powers of consciousness. So we're in the middle of page 181. Our yellow post-it study notes for today are, now Eddie puts these in the corner of each page, see, so you can study along. Today we're going to be looking at the latent powers in man, partially unveiled, the physiology of the pineal gland and the pituitary body, involutionary and evolutionary development of the faculties. We all have these faculties, we do. And a side note here from Eddie, he says, evolution is both the divine imperative and its response in matter, creating vehicles of expression. Let's get to it. Neural transducers of consciousness. Neural transducers of consciousness, the role of the pituitary body and the pineal gland. So in the section about the unfolding of man's latent or occult powers earlier in Unfolding Consciousness, Eddie stated that there exist forces lying dormant within certain apparently physical organs, channels, and centers. They're in our body, everybody has them, which are, in reality, he says, the veils or sheaths of spiritual centers, of forces and powers. That is so beautiful. So he stated that a fragment, just a tiny fragment of these secrets on how to awaken these forces, previously they were only given to people who were deserving candidates. And it was only first made public, very first time, through the supervision of the Esoteric section of the Theosophical Society and the inner group teachings in response to the phenomenal explosion of knowledge in modern times, which in modern times has made huge strides in the physical sciences, but has barely touched their occult kernel. That's the whole reason, well, one of the whole reasons for him writing this book. So what follows, Eddie asserts here, then, represents a fragment torn from the original fragment regarding the occult forces latent in two principal organs. They are the pituitary body and the pineal gland. They are psychoneural transducers of consciousness. Let's say that again. They are psychoneural transducers of consciousness, so to speak, dormant under normal conditions for the vast majority of people by virtue of the protective veil that we just mentioned, but they can be aroused under certain special circumstances. Now, Eddie's objective here, and our objective here, is certainly not to divulge guarded secrets, even if he knew about them, but to show you the limitless, truly unlimited powers that are latent in each and every one of us. They are part of our deserving heritage and which can all be accessed in the fullness of time under the appropriate circumstances. And given the right qualification of ethics and character of the aspirant, and the aspirant is you. If you're hearing this video this far, you're the aspirant. Now we commence with an aphorism of deep significance by Paul Brunton. Now listen, okay? At opposing ends of the spine, the human and the animal spine, they oppose each other. This is important, so I'm going to say it again. At opposing ends of the spine, the human and the animal, they oppose each other. So instead of attempting an outright explanation of its significance, let the meaning dawn gradually into fuller light as we go along. First, we outline the physiological functions of these two glands as a precursor to a bare outline of their veiled secrets. The physiological role of the endocrine organs, the function of the pineal gland was the first to be discovered, about the size of a grain of rice, and located deep in the center of the brain, the vertebrate brain. So the pineal gland was once known as the third eye, for reasons that will become apparent. You probably know this. So the precise physiological function of the pineal gland, still in 2023, it is a mystery to medical science. But that's not a mystery to us, because obviously it would be. However, it is known that the pineal gland secretes a single hormone. Do you know what it is? Melatonin, which serves two principal functions: to control the circadian rhythm of the body, the 24-hour biological cycle characterized by sleeping and waking patterns. And the pineal gland regulates certain reproductive hormones. Melatonin secretion is dependent on light by virtue of the network of the nerve connections between the photosensitive cells in the retina of the eye and the pineal gland, such that secretion it's low when it's daylight hours, and it becomes high during dark periods. The pituitary body is a pea-sized structure located at the base of the brain just below the hypothalamus, to which it is attached via nerve fibers. It is sometimes known as the master gland. It's the boss of all the endocrine systems, since its physiological function is to produce critical hormones that regulate the functions of other endocrine glands and controls various bodily functions. Latent powers in mankind. So before describing the hidden potentiality in the pineal gland and the pituitary gland for the full flowering of consciousness in man, Eddie first needs to touch upon the reason why the pineal gland is referred to under such names as the third eye, the Eye of Horus in Egypt. In Hindu, they call it the Deva Eye, the Deva Eye. They all are talking about the same thing. Pay attention to that here. While in the Esoteric Buddhism of Tibet and the Trans-Himalayan regions, it is referred to as the Eye of Dangma. What are all these various terms pointing to? In order to understand this, it must be borne in mind, bear it in mind. If you bear it, then you born it in mind, that every phase of evolution reflects a profound intelligence and wisdom, whereby the inner forces of consciousness work through the instrumentality of the outer functions of sense organs and the body, notably the various psychophysical centers or chakras, among the highest of which is the pineal gland. This is in our highest chakra. These centers continue to develop as man evolves spiritually. However, evolution in the fullest sense also includes previous cycles of involution. Involution means the generation of different forms of increasing concretion. Now that means the growing together. So a generation of different forms of increasing growing together. So it means it's growing together, expressing essential types and faculties. So there's more on this later in these lessons. More on this later. Remember, Eddie is a mechanical engineer, so that's how he writes. It is concerned with developing self-expression through limitation. Therefore, it has a compelling effect on consciousness. In popular terms, that means the imprisonment of spirit in matter. Evolution, on the other hand, refers to an expansion of consciousness by transcending the limitations of form, the release of spirit from matter through conscious knowledge. So science considers just evolution, and only at the physical level. That's it. Practically ignoring completely the involutionary cycle, spirit and matter. So, by science restricting itself to less than half of the overall process, science is in no position to pronounce a complete theory of evolution. It's impossible. So next time we're going into involutionary and evolutionary cycles. Involution, evolution. This is book study number 52 in the Unfolding Consciousness study series on the awakening of latent faculties and powers of consciousness. The divine occult forces within us all. Occult simply means veiled or out of view right now. This is from Dr. Eddie Bilimoria's mammoth text, Unfolding Consciousness, Exploring the Living Universe and the Intelligent Powers in Nature and Humans. That's what we're talking about. These are the intelligent powers. We're in volume 3. Each volume is set in a different phase. This is Gazing Through the Telescope. Man is the measure of all things. We were on page 181 in chapter 9. Please, 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 if you get anything out of these at all, anything, if it sparks joy in any part of you, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. It's the only way to get them out there. Links to the ebooks of Unfolding Consciousness are down below, and they're only $24.99 in most local currencies. And don't forget, if you want the hardback set, it's over 1,000 pages, about 1,300 pages in 4 volumes. The 4th volume is a reference manual, and all of the links to the ancient teachings are in there. You just type in "I want my copy" when you buy your copy from the Shepherd Walwyn website. So I am thinking, Jonathan and Chris and our regulars that are here, I'm thinking we might do these once a month, or possibly twice a month, because the weekly ones, they're kicking my butt. Not that I don't enjoy doing them, but I'm going to be doing something a little different here on this channel and starting another one called Academy Sophia, which is a passive, meditative way of learning these teachings while you meditate or listen to relaxing meditations, basically. So that is the next stage here. But these, we're not going to walk away from them. We're just going to do them a little bit further apart because it is quite a lot. And Eddie's got a lot of things happening too. I'm going to be working with him in getting the books published in paperback, audiobook, and condensed versions so they can get out into the world. So I'll be doing that, and I need to dedicate my time to that for him. And I believe in you, and I'm grateful, and I believe in these teachings. They are instructions for humanity. They are the commonalities. This is what is called the thread that runs through. The perennial philosophy is the thread that runs through all of the world's religions, sciences, and philosophies. Look for the commonalities, find them, apply them, become them. And there's nothing more important to do. I love you, and I'll see you next time.